influence your perception of overall self-worth and can be the deciding factor in determining whether a person will engage in a task or elect to defer, withdraw, or completely avoid a challenge. Take avoidance is motivated by fear of failure. You hear that? Some people avoid you because they are scared that they will fail beside you. Some people avoid relationships because they are scared that they will fail at that relationship. Some people avoid applying for that good job that they know they are skilled to do because they feel as if they will fail. That's what they perceive. It's not what is, because they haven't tried it yet. They haven't taken a step forward or towards it. So therefore, they haven't failed yet. But because the belief is so strong that I can't do this, I can't do this, that belief is so strong in you that you give up on yourself, that you lose all confident feelings that you can do it. And you avoid whatever seems like a challenge. If it seems like a challenge, you're going to avoid it. And, based on perceived likelihood of undesirable evaluations from others, or because of the dismissal prospect of generating negative emotions such as doubt, guilt, or humiliation that often accompany failure, you won't try again. When you see those people coming, you'll avoid them. I know we have some good singers out here. But most of the time what singers say, some singers say, no, I ain't going to sing that song because I can't do it. Because they don't feel confident enough to step on stage and use their gift. You know what some writers say? I'm going to write this. Oh no, this is a good one. And I know a lot of you have been in this position too. It's some writers got stacks and stacks of notebooks just filled up, but they won't produce them. They won't put them public because they aren't confident in their ability. They're not confident. They don't feel like what they have to say is good enough because of how they have compared themselves to other people, or because maybe they put something out there before that didn't get the praise that it deserved. So don't let your competency be how can I say, don't let it be only, don't become aware of it only when someone is praising you for what you have done. You have to learn to be confident whether people love you or hate you. You have to learn to be confident whether you got money or you don't got money. It's a either is or. It's not going to be both. You're going to be one or the other. Otherwise, you will be double-minded and unstable. So I choose to be stable despite my problems with speaking and stuff. I choose to continue to speak because I'm confident in what I have to say is going to change somebody's life. I'm confident that my value of content is more important than the way I sound. And even though in radio, a lot of people are like, well, this is how you got to sound. This is how the words have to be sound. But the good thing is with technology now, you can do whatever you want. So what are you waiting on? The next thing is value. A third influential self-belief is the degree of value we associate with different task outcomes, which fluctuates according to the individual and, of course, cultural standards, as well as the extent of cognitive, social, and moral development. When ascribing low value to a potential goal or task, individuals are reluctant to invest effort. For example, this is an example though. Who would devote extraordinary cognitive and financial resources to completing law school or invest physical energy toward running in a 10-mile race when the payoff is seen as marginal, uninteresting, or questionable value? People don't move toward their goals and they don't see themselves as value sometimes when they wake up and they realize that they're living in a small home, maybe 1-bedroom apartment. They don't see the value in themselves because they don't have what others have, and therefore they won't invest in the effort to even try and go do anything to become bigger or to have more, because they are now looking at what they have as low value. But let me tell you something. Wherever you are at in life is never low value. It's not low value unless you are thinking negative about it. If you want it to be low and uninteresting, then it can be low. But I can tell you this, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. You remember, because to whom much is given, much is to whom much is given, much is, oh my God, let me get that scripture for you. To whom much is given, much is required. That's what it is. But I'm going to pull up the scripture anyway, just to back this up. To whom much is... Okay. I'm looking for scripture. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let me see. It's Luke 12:48. Still pulling it up. Okay, but he that knew not and committed things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with fruit stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given of him shall much be required. And to whom men have committed much of, they will ask thee more. So in other words, if your value is low, if you're assessing yourself as low value and you're getting up acting with low value, of course, nobody's going to come to you. Nobody's going to want to hire you based on the fact of how you perceive yourself. When you start acting better and treating yourself better, then people will start treating you better and respecting you. So to whom much is given, much is required. So you must have that value there in order to gain more. And once you gain more, you have to sustain your value and your competency and make sure that those goals are set in place in order to do the more work that is required. Self-beliefs that ascribe little value to ethical and honest behavior may be one of the key reasons accounting for frequency of what is described as moral disengagement, a practice whereby individuals and corporations are willing to engage in questionable business practices, lack of environmental concern, or deliberate law breaking under the auspices of weak moral convictions. So the next thing is goal orientation. A fourth and highly influential self-belief relates to the reasons we pursue goals. Goal orientation represents the alleged purpose for engaging in learning or the reasons particular performance target is chosen. Typically situated as an explanation of academic behavior, individuals may elect to pursue academic knowledge and personal development for either normative and appearance reasons or for the inherent satisfaction of mastering a skill or ability. Now, when goal pursuit is based upon an appearance belief, the individual is focused on looking good in the eyes of peers or avoiding the public humiliation that may accompany goal failure. This approach employs a social comparison motive because the individual is less concerned about the results, but more focused on the assessment of capability from others. In other words, of course, we set goals just because we see other people setting them, and we set goals just so we can be in the spotlight. It kind of makes us feel like we are what? In control. But the problem happens when we set goals and we compare ourselves to others, but we don't accomplish the goals that we set. Instead, we fail at it, and now we look like we were crazy. And now we have people saying, why are you going to set goals that you can't keep? And it starts to shape our behavior because that level of humiliation and shame is there. So now you don't want to let people know that you failed at what you said. So how does that belief affect your behavior? Of course, humiliation can make you shame and keep you inside. It can lead to depression, all kind of sickness. Because you think about it. Somebody who sets a goal to lose this year, they set a goal, okay, let's use 2017. 2017, you set a goal to lose 50 pounds. You didn't lose 50 pounds, you gained 50 pounds. You didn't told everybody that you were going to lose this weight, but you couldn't even keep the agreement to yourself. Well, what happened was, it's easy to lose focus when you continuously compare yourself to others. You can't continue to compare your goals to what others have. But the simple fact is, God didn't give them what he gave you. If this is truly your goal and you know that your life is dependent on you to lose that 50 pounds, then you have to take your focus off on what everybody else is doing and start focusing on what you need to be doing. My charger's trying to come out. And start focusing on what you need to be doing, because for one thing, when you show interest in what you believe in, people do respect you. But people don't respect a whole lot of hot air, a whole lot of mouth that doesn't get anything done. So you have to do what you have to do to complete your goals, whether that is to seek help when needed, monitor your goals, take progress records, keep a journal of what you're doing, monitor your progress, or either try something new or alternative strategies to reach your desired outcomes. You can't, continue to live your life based on what someone else is thinking of you. So if you're going to set the goal, and set goals that are realistic. Too many times people set these goals at the beginning of the year and they're not thinking of, I get bored easy. If you know you get bored easy setting a long-term goal, then set short-term goals. Don't try to go for the distance right now. Until you have become disciplined in distance, go for short-term goals. I remember when I first started losing weight, and those of you that don't know my story, I was over 537 pounds. And when I first tried to lose weight when I was younger, I would always say, well, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I would set big numbers up there. And I'd be like, I'm going to lose this in 7 months. But the problem was the number was too big. It was overwhelming. I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle it, let alone continue to focus on it. You know what I'm saying? So I lost my focus somewhere along the second week of trying to lose that. Somewhere along the second week of trying to lose that 100 pounds, I lost all focus on the whole entire goal. Didn't accomplish anything for years. But it was when I started studying how I could go about losing this weight and learning that there were steps that I had to take, learning that you have to be patient during the stepping and the process. The stepping is moving toward it. The process is doing it. So I had to have patience between there. So instead of setting big time goals and saying that I was going to exercise for 1 hour a day, I committed to, because this is what I felt more comfortable in and I felt more control of, was committing to 10 minutes a day to start off. 10 minutes a day for 3 times a week. Then I went up to 15 minutes after 2 weeks of doing that. I just had to get myself in that routine of achieving my small little goals, which were weekly goals. They were weekly goals. They weren't monthly. They weren't every 3 weeks. They were weekly, because I knew I could not focus that far out because it was such an overwhelming task. And I ended up losing, to this day, over 200 pounds. Naturally. And eventually, after I got used to my routine, even to this day, I still get up and do it. I do my routine. I get up and I, speak well over my life and pray. And then I do whatever exercise needs to be done for the day. And it's just part of my life now. It's just part of my life. And now I know that if I'm not moving, then that means there's no progress. So, y'all, that's what I have for you today, is to understand that your behavior and self-beliefs will affect you whenever it comes down to being whenever it comes down to setting your goals and being in control, it has a fact. It has a